जाएंगे पुर्र। आरबीआई कहता है
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. This is News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. The former Deputy Prime Minister and BJP stalwart LK Advani to be conferred the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award in the country. Prime Minister Modi congratulates Advani, says his contribution to the development of India is monumental. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches multiple infrastructure projects worth over 68,000 crore rupees in Odisha and says that the projects will benefit the last person standing in the queue. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says that India is now the first responder to distress calls in the Indian Ocean and the Indo-Pacific region. He asserts that the Navy is a net security provider. US forces carry out retaliatory strikes in Syria and Iraq in response to Sunday's drone attack on Jordan military base. Iran condemns the US strikes. Iraq calls it a violation of sovereignty. And India is in the driver's seat after pacer Jasprit Bumrah rips through the England batting lineup as the visitors are bundled out for 253 on day 2 of the second test at Visakhapatnam. The veteran BJP leader LK Advani will be conferred the Bharat Ratna. He is the founder member of the party and also thrice served as the BJP president. LK Advani also thrice served as a union minister in the government of India, as the information and broadcasting minister in the government of Morarji Desai in 1977, and then as the home minister and deputy prime minister in the governments of Atal Bihari Vajpayee between 1998 and 2004. The 96-year-old said that it's a very emotional moment for him.
India's prominent veteran leader Lal Krishna Advani will be conferred with the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award of India. The announcement was made by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday. Prime Minister Modi said, "I am very happy to share that Shri LK Advani ji will be conferred with the Bharat Ratna. I also spoke to him and congratulated him on being conferred this honor. One of the most respected statesmen of our times, his contribution to the development of India is monumental. His is a life that started from working at the grassroots to serving the nation as our Deputy Prime Minister. He distinguished himself as our Home Minister and I&B Minister as well. His parliamentary interventions have always been exemplary, full of rich insights." While speaking at an event in India's Odisha, PM Modi lauded LK Advani's contribution to nation building.
आज देश ने अपने एक महान सपूत पूर्व उप प्रधानमंत्री लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जी को भारत रत्न देने का भी निर्णय लिया है। भारत के उप प्रधानमंत्री, गृह मंत्री एवं सूचना प्रसारण मंत्री के रूप में और दशकों तक एक निष्ठावान, जागरूक सांसद के रूप में आदरणीय आडवाणी जी ने देश की जो सेवा की है वो अप्रतिम है।
LK Advani thanked President and Prime Minister Modi for the honor. He accepted the honor of the Bharat Ratna and said that the motto, "The life is not mine, my life is for the nation," is what inspired his life. He also expressed heartfelt gratitude to the millions of party workers, RSS workers and others with whom he worked throughout his journey in public life.
बहुत खुशी है मुझे भी पूरे परिवार को कि दादा को इतना बड़ा सम्मान, देश का सर्वोच्च सम्मान मिला है। मैंने जब दादा को बताया, मुझे पता लगा और मैंने दादा को बताया, तो वो बहुत ही खुश थे और उन्होंने यही चीज़ बोली कि जीवन में उन्होंने अपना पूरा जीवन देश की सेवा में लगाया। इसके लिए वो बहुत खुशगुजार हैं और प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी का धन्यवाद करते हैं।
And just after the announcement, congratulatory messages started pouring in.
तो राम जी की कृपा इतनी ज़बरदस्त हुई कि श्री LK अडवाणी जी को भारत सरकार ने भारत रत्न दे दिया है।
आज़ाद भारत के सबसे बड़े नेताओं में से और स्टेट्समैन के रूप में भी जाने वाले, भारतीय जनता पार्टी का संगठन का बहुत विस्तार करने वाले और जिन्होंने राम मंदिर के लिए यात्रा भी की, संकल्प भी लिया, ऐसे हमारे प्रिय नेता लाल कृष्ण अडवाणी जी को भारत रत्न देने का जो निर्णय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने लिया है, वो करोड़ों हिंदुस्तानियों को बहुत प्रसन्नता उनके चेहरे पर लाई है। मैं उनका बहुत बहुत आभार प्रकट करता हूँ, अडवाणी जी को बधाई देता हूँ।
हमारे प्रेरणा स्त्रोत्र लाल कृष्ण अडवाणी जी को भारत रत्न से गौरवान्वित करना ये पूरे देश के लिए और हम सब के लिए बहुत गौरव का क्षण है। अडवाणी जी ने अपना संपूर्ण जीवन देश के लिए और समाज के लिए समर्पित किया।
LK Advani led the movement of the Ram Temple's construction in India's northern city of Ayodhya. The BJP's then president led the Ram Rath Yatra in the 1990s, laying the foundation for the Ram Temple movement. He began the Ram Rath Yatra from Somnath to Ayodhya. It became the symbol of the Hindu resolve to reclaim the temple at Ayodhya. His mission was to reshape history and narrate North India folklore from a strong Hindutva perspective. LK Advani played a major role in providing autonomy to All India Radio and Doordarshan, the public broadcasters of India, in 1976 as Information and Broadcasting Minister after he realized the sad state of media and its misuse during the 1975 emergency. Born on November 8, 1927 in Karachi, present-day Pakistan, Advani has a commendable career as a politician. He is one of the co-founders of India's leading political party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, and a member of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, the RSS. The veteran leader served as the president of the Bharatiya Janata Party for the longest period since its inception. Capping a parliamentary career of nearly 3 decades, LK Advani was first the Home Minister and later the Deputy Prime Minister in the cabinet of Atal Bihari Vajpayee from 1998 to 2004.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of a number of energy and infra projects in the Indian state of Odisha. These projects will significantly strengthen India's energy security and lead to the nation's economic growth and prosperity. These projects also will boost Odisha's progress. Prime Minister addressed a public rally where he listed out the BJP government's achievements during the last 10 years.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday inaugurated, dedicated to nation and laid the foundation stone of multiple infrastructure projects worth more than rupees 68,000 crore in Sambalpur, Orissa. Prime Minister inaugurated Dhamra-Angul pipeline section of Jagdishpur-Haldia and Bokaro-Dhamra pipeline project. Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of Nagpur-Jharsuguda natural gas pipeline section of Mumbai-Nagpur-Jharsuguda pipeline. Other projects which were dedicated to the nation include NTPC Daripalli Super Thermal Power Station and NSPCL Rourkela PP2 expansion project in Sundargarh district of Orissa. He also laid the foundation stone of NTPC Talcher Thermal Power Project Stage 3 in Angul district of Odisha. These power projects will supply low-cost power to Odisha as well as several other states. Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of Neyveli Lignite Corporation Talabira Thermal Power Project worth more than 27,000 crore. Prime Minister also inaugurated coal infrastructure projects of Mahanadi Coalfields Limited, including first mile connectivity projects, Bhubaneswari Phase 1 in Talcher Coalfields in Angul district and a Lajkura rapid loading system. Prime Minister also inaugurated IB Valley Washery, built at a cost of over rupees 550 crore in Jharsuguda district of Orissa. Prime Minister dedicated to the nation a 50-kilometer-long second track of Jharsuguda-Barpali-Sardega rail line Phase 1 built by Mahanadi Coalfields Limited with an investment of rupees 878 crore. Prime Minister dedicated to nation and laid the foundation stone of railway projects worth about rupees 2,146 crore. He He also laid foundation stone for the redevelopment of Sambalpur railway station, whose architecture is inspired from the Selashri Palace. He also dedicated the Sambalpur-Tacher doubling railway line and Jatarba to Sonepur new railway line, enhancing the rail network capacity in the region. Prime Minister also flagged off Puri-Sonepur-Puri weekly express.
मैं ओडिशा के लोगों को इन विकास प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। इसमें शिक्षा, रेल, रोड, बिजली, पेट्रोलियम से जुड़ी अनेक परियोजनाएं शामिल हैं।
Prime Minister also inaugurated the permanent campus of IIM Sambalpur. Prime Minister said that institutions like this improve the local economy and make Sambalpur a hub for learning. Later, Prime Minister also addressed another public rally in Odisha. Prime Minister listed out government's achievements.
बीते 10 वर्षों में जनजातीय कल्याण के लिए बजट को हमने कई गुना बढ़ाया है। ये भाजपा ही है जिसने ओडिशा की सम्मानित बेटी आदिवासी समाज की प्रतिनिधि आदरणीय द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी को देश का राष्ट्रपति बनाया है। अभी 3 दिन पहले जब उन्होंने संसद को संबोधित किया तो पूरी दुनिया उनके एक-एक शब्द को ध्यान से सुन रही थी।
Prime Minister said that BJP government has been ensuring holistic development in the country. He added that today the youth of India is full of confidence as the honest BJP government is standing behind them. Bureau Report, DD India.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Commonwealth Attorneys and Solicitors General Conference 2024 on Saturday. The conference was inaugurated in New Delhi. The conference's theme is cross-border challenges in justice delivery, focusing on crucial legal and justice issues. Let's look at this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Commonwealth Legal Education Association, Commonwealth Attorneys and Solicitors General Conference 2024 at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi on Saturday. The theme of the conference is cross-border challenges in justice delivery and will deliberate on important issues pertaining to law and justice like judicial transition and the ethical dimensions of legal practice, executive accountability and revisiting modern-day legal education. While addressing the event, PM Modi highlighted India's special relationship with the African Union.
India has a special relationship with the African Union. We are proud that the African Union became a part of the G20 during India's presidency. This will go a long way in addressing the aspirations of the people of Africa.
Expressing concern about the challenges posed by cryptocurrency and cyber threats, Prime Minister underscored the need to rethink, reimagine and reform, including modernizing legal systems, making the system more flexible and adaptable.
The rise of cryptocurrency and cyber threats are posing new challenges. 21st century challenges cannot be fought with a 20th century approach. There is a need to rethink, reimagine, and reform. This includes modernizing legal systems that deliver justice. This includes making our systems more flexible and adaptable.
PM Modi also stressed on the legal reform undertaken by the government.
India is also modernizing laws to reflect the present realities. Now, the 3 new legislations have replaced more than 100-year-old colonial criminal laws. Earlier, the focus was on punishment and penal aspects. Now, the focus is on encouraging justice. Therefore, citizens have a sense of assurance rather than fear.
The event was also attended by Union Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal and Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. This conference witnessed the participation of attorney generals and solicitors from the Commonwealth nations spanning the Asia Pacific, Africa and the Caribbean, along with various international delegations. The conference serves as a unique platform by offering a forum for interaction among different stakeholders in the Commonwealth legal fraternity. It also includes an exclusive roundtable conference tailored for attorneys and solicitors general, aiming to develop a comprehensive roadmap to address the challenges in legal education and transitional justice delivery. Siddharth Bharadwaj report, TD India.
India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Pushpang Goel held an interaction with the product-linked incentive beneficiaries at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi on Saturday. During this interaction, the minister welcomed constructive criticism from various industrial sectors for better facilitation and manufacturing growth in the country. He emphasized that Bharat Mobility Global Expo's inclusive national approach underscored its resonance with the contemporary spirit of a new India.
The future of mobility on our plans to prepare India for a green future, sustainable future, and an inclusive future. Because as the Honorable Prime Minister said, every single project, every single infrastructure that India develops, every effort to improve the logistics ecosystem will all ultimately only provide increasing opportunities to the mobility sector. To my mind, this is a milestone event in the industry of the mobility sector.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour. India's Defence Minister says that the Indian Navy has made the nation proud by enabling safer trade in the Indian Ocean. Delhi Airport completes the recarpeting and refurbishment of a second runway. The United States conducts airstrikes in Iraq and Syria.
Our modern industrialized world is producing more toxins than ever before. Water quality across several parts of the world is getting worse.
We need to have these wastewater treatment plants.
Government is carving out localities here and there and releasing all the sewage water into these lakes.
When we analyze all this, the food, constituents of the food, had heavy metal.
With biotanks, the sewage water gets recycled. It can be used for different purposes or drained into the ground.
Shipwrecks are a major problem and airtight international rules are needed to make a difference.
To 10% of a giant ship's weight is made up of asbestos, heavy metals, oil and other toxic substances.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The Indian Navy has commissioned its latest survey vessel, Sandayak, in the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh attended the ceremony. The vessel is designed indigenously with a primary role to carry out a full-scale hydrographic survey of ports, harbours, navigational routes and deep seas. Speaking at the event, Rajnath Singh called the Indian Navy's efforts in providing safety and security a matter of great pride.
एक तरह से ये हम सब के लिए बहुत ही गर्व का विषय है कि हिंद महासागर क्षेत्र में हमारी नौसेना की वजह से न सिर्फ सुरक्षित व्यापार यानी सिक्योर ट्रेड संभव हो पा रहा है, बल्कि इस पूरे रीजन में पीस एंड प्रॉस्पेरिटी को भी स्वाभाविक रूप से बढ़ावा मिल रहा है। हमारी नौसेना इतनी सशक्त हो चुकी है कि हम हिंद महासागर तथा हिंद प्रशांत क्षेत्र में सिक्योरिटी के मामले में फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर बन गए हैं। यह मैं बात पूरे कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ कह सकता हूं। समुद्र में चोरी, डकैती और तस्करी से जुड़े लोगों को किसी भी सूरत में बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। यह नए भारत का एक प्रण है।
The Delhi International Airport Limited today announced the successful completion of the recarpeting and refurbishment work on runway 1028. That's called the second runway. The Delhi International Airport Limited undertook the much-needed recarpeting work of the 3,813-meter long and 45-meter wide second runway in the middle of September 2023, just after the conclusion of the historic G20 summit. The passenger handling capacity of Delhi airport's 3 terminals would increase to 100 million passengers per annum, and the airside capacity will now enhance to handle 140 million passengers per annum. The United States conducted airstrikes in Iraq and Syria, targeting over 85 sites linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard. This retaliation followed a deadly attack on U.S. troops, which, exacerbates tensions now in West Asia. Iran condemned these strikes, saying that the U.S. should act more wisely, while Iraq said that it could ignite instability in the region. Let's take a look at this report.
The United States launched airstrikes in Iraq and Syria against more than 85 targets linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard and the militias it backs, reportedly killing more than 30 people in retaliation for a deadly attack on U.S. troops. U.S. Central Command released footage on Friday showing a B-1 bomber taking off from a runway. While the strikes avoided targeting sites within Iran, they indicate a troubling escalation in West Asia, coinciding with the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas militants in Gaza, which has endured for more than 3 months. Iraqi Foreign Ministry summoned the U.S. chargé d'affaires to Baghdad to protest the U.S. attacks in Iraq. Iraq called the airstrikes by the U.S. a violation of its sovereignty and said these strikes pose a threat that could lead the region into dire consequence. At the international stage, Poland's Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski noted that the U.S. retaliatory strikes were a consequence of Iranian proxies playing with fire.
Well, the most urgent issue right now is that we have American strikes against targets in the Middle East. What I can tell you about it is that Iran's proxies have played with fire for months and years, and it's now burning them.
Austrian Foreign Minister Alexander Schallenberg said it was the time to be extremely watchful of the things as they unfolded.
This is a powder keg, the whole Middle East, and there are too many people running around with matches. And that is the one point, whether it's in south of Lebanon, whether it's in the West Bank, whether it's in Iraq, Syria and other places, I believe we have to be extremely watchful.
As the global community watches the situation unfold, there is a collective hope for a resolution that brings lasting peace to the region. Rishabh Sharma's report for DD India.
Meanwhile, the U.S. has imposed sanctions on Iran's ballistic missile and drone procurement programs. Washington also placed sanctions on 6 officials of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Cyber Electronic Command, citing malicious cyber activities against critical infrastructure in the United States and elsewhere. The sanctions also targeted 4 Iran and Hong Kong-based companies involved in providing materials and technology to Iran's ballistic missile and drone program, as well as a Hong Kong-based firm for selling Iranian commodities to Chinese entities. A U.S. judge has postponed the former U.S. President Donald Trump's trial on federal charges that he sought to overturn the 2020 election results. The delay stems from an appeal by Trump on claims that he is immune from prosecution for official actions taken while he was president. The judge did not set a new date for the trial, which was scheduled to begin next month. Supporters of Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol, as we recall, on the 6th of January 2020 after he had lost the elections to Joe Biden. The former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party has named 53 women candidates to contest the upcoming Pakistan elections, as per a media report in Pakistan. This number is the highest among major political parties in Pakistan, granting election tickets to women. Some other news from around the world now. And public transport across Germany was halted as around 90,000 workers in more than 80 cities were called out to strike on Friday to demand better working conditions. The train driver strikes have been in place since late January due to a demand to raise pay and also reduce working hours. French soldiers and police officers patrolled outside the Gare de Lyon rail station in Paris after a knife attack early on Saturday left 3 people wounded. Police said they had arrested the suspected attacker. The police added that the 2 of the victims of this attack suffered light wounds, while the 3rd was more seriously hurt but was not in a life-threatening situation. Dent du Voulion, a renowned skiing spot in the Swiss Jura Mountains. This place has been left snowless. This is because of an unusually mild winter. This has led to winter sport enthusiasts deserting the ski spots and also the closure of the ski resorts throughout the country. Switzerland, which is a global ski destination, is warming at about twice the global average because of climate change. A 16th century church that was normally flooded inside a dam in southern Mexico is now visible due to the low water levels brought in by a drought. In late January, water levels in Benito Juarez Dam had decreased by 47%. Locals said that the decrease in the water is due to low levels of rainfall in recent years. And still to come here on DD India News Hour, we'll be putting into context the political legacy of LK Advani. And you can book your tickets to the Eiffel Tower online using UPI. Also, North Korea test fires cruise missiles and new land-to-air missiles along the western coastline.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India. Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. LK Advani's family was displaced from Pakistan during partition, and he joined the RSS and worked as a journalist as well with the organizer. He is credited with raising the profile of the BJP after his Rath Yatra. The party has only grown from strength to strength since the 1989 elections, when the party first won 86 seats, to currently supplanting the Congress as the predominant party in Indian politics. Let's look at this report.
In the aftermath of India's independence came the partition of India. One of the communities worst affected by the partition was the Sindhis. Like millions others, LK Advani left Karachi for Delhi on the 12th of September 1947 to begin a new life. A life that would lead him to gain India's highest honor, the Bharat Ratna. Deeply rooted in nationalism of an RSS Pracharak, Advani moved to Delhi to work with the Bharatiya Janata Sangh in the 1960s and became a full party member. His political life led him to becoming a founding member of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and he is credited with playing a leading role in bringing the party from the fringes of Indian politics into the mainstream. He served in coalition governments in which the BJP was a dominant member between 1998 and 2004, as Home Minister and then as Deputy Prime Minister. The party has now displaced the Congress as the predominant political party in India and is the largest political party in the world. Most of his political career was in the opposition, and he rose to be the leader of the opposition in both the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha several times, a post akin to that of Shadow Prime Minister. Advani has devoted his life to the service of the nation.
His autobiography is aptly titled My Country, My Life. LK Advani's political career began with the municipal affairs of Delhi, an unlikely ally in the CPI, where both parties shared the offices of mayor and deputy mayor on a rotation basis in 1970. Advani said his initial grounding in alliance politics came from this alliance. Advani was also a journalist with the organizer that he joined as an assistant editor in 1960. Among his contributions, besides writing on politics, were his columns on film and theatre. He wrote a regular column under the pen name Netra. In April 1970, Advani entered the Rajya Sabha from Delhi. He spoke on important issues, including strengthening the unity and integrity of the country and respecting the voice of the opposition. LK Advani became the president of the Bharatiya Janata Sangh in December 1972. During the emergency, he and Atal Bihari Vajpayee were jailed in Bangalore in 1975 and released only a year later. The Janata Sangh merged with the Janata Party, which won a clear majority, securing 295 seats in a House of 542 seats in the subsequent elections. Advani became the Information and Broadcasting Minister. He put in place the groundwork for what he had often advocated in Parliament, institutional autonomy for All India Radio and Doordarshan. The Janata Party experiment was short-lived, and 3,500 volunteers led by Vajpayee and Advani formed the Bharatiya Janata Party in 1980. Vajpayee was its first president and LK Advani its general secretary. Under LK Advani, the BJP became the political face of the Ram Janambhoomi movement. In the 1988 election, the BJP won 86 seats and supported the National Front government from outside. Since then, the BJP has grown from strength to strength.
Everyone kept saying that it would be hard even to retain the 86 seats that they've got last time, because last time there was an anti-Congress wave and there was a seat adjustment. And this time they are going on their own and contesting all seats. They are fared badly. And the result today is that ours is the party which has enhanced its strength the most of the three combatants. And not only that, but we have been successful in getting a majority or about to get a majority in the largest state of the country.
The party under LK Advani was the major opposition party from 1991 to 1996. Advani resigned as an MP in 1996 following allegations of his involvement in the infamous Hawala scam. He was re-elected with a significant margin after his name was cleared. In a series of elections since then, the electorate finally gave the NDA, a coalition led by the BJP, a decisive mandate, and the BJP led the government from 1998 to 2004. LK Advani assumed the office of Home Minister and later Deputy Prime Minister. The years are remembered for India's firm stance against terrorism and victory in the Kargil War. From 2004 to 2009, LK Advani served as the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. He was the prime ministerial face of the party for the 2009 general elections, but the party failed to win a majority. LK Advani then stepped aside for Sushma Swaraj to become the leader of the opposition in the 15th Lok Sabha. Bureau Report, DD India. And to discuss the legacy of LK Advani, we are joined by Shekhar Iyer, senior political commentator, who's joining us via Zoom link. Thanks, Mr. Iyer. What do you credit LK Advani's, would you say that his Rath Yatra gave new energy to the BJP?
Well, Mark, Rath Yatra was one chapter of his political life. Today, when you look at LK Advani's career, and that today he has been, he's going to be honored with Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award.
Yes.
You will have to take a view of his contribution to Indian politics and also the governance model that he always postulated. And in his capacity as Home Minister, his capacity as Deputy Prime Minister, he always pushed for what is called good governance. He was always say, Susasan. Susasan is a very important aspect of governance, and he felt that a large part of governance does not require any ideological, dimension. Rather, it requires commitment to do the best in a manner that is transparent, that is clean politics, and he emphasized on that. Right. That is why today, if you find BJP, today the Prime Minister is talking of transparency, good governance, and he also believed in what I would say accommodating people, rather parties, and avoiding what is called political touchability. And he was the first to predict that ultimately Indian politics will move towards two poles. One pole would be led by the Congress and the other pole by the BJP. And that is what subsequently happened.
Yes.
Ultimately, though we have a multi-party system, there's always around those two poles. That was also his concept. And when it came to formation of National Democratic Alliance, and he along with Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, felt some of the issues in which they could not get their NDA partners to agree upon should be kept aside. That is why you saw between 98 and 99, when there was a 1 year of rule, and then subsequently from 99 to 2004, NDA provided one of the best governance model in this country. Right. And when in 2004, when UPA took over, lot of things were in better shape.
Yes.
And the vision that he had for India, along with Atalji, and was a very unique way of looking at Indian things.
Sure.
And he also gave a new dimension or a meaning to what is called cultural nationalism.
So let me come in there on that and ask you a question about that relationship between LK Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee. How do they complement each other? Both of them are Bharat Ratnas.
Indeed, Atalji had his own special leadership qualities. Something that Advani ji knew very well, respected. Similarly, Vajpayee ji also acknowledged that on certain matters, Advani's word should be final. I've heard from several political leaders, the leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party, telling me that how would they take the matter to Vajpayee or to Vajpayee ji or to Advani ji? It was also very intriguing. If there were intricate issues, whether relating to governance or to the government, if the matter was taken to Advani ji, and if Advani ji felt the last word should come from Vajpayee ji, he would say, Atal ji se puchiye. Similarly, Atal ji would also leave some matters, some integrate matters for Advani ji to sort it out. That was a very unique kind of partnership that lasted for several years, and of which Advani ji has written his autobiography also. And subsequently also we have seen how it was Advani ji who took the decision to name Vajpayee ji as the Prime Minister candidate.
Right.
In 95, before the 96 elections.
Yes.
And similarly, Atal ji also felt when it came to organizational matters, when it came to what Advani ji looked at, building up that alternative model of governance, to present BJP as a party that could provide the alternative model of governance. Advani ji had a very big role.
Okay. Indeed, Advani ji is now 96 years old, and he says, of course, this is an honor for him and for his ideals and principles that he stood for. We know you did talk about his autobiography. It's titled My Country, My Life. How do you view his decision to resign as a member of parliament when his name cropped up in connection with a Hawala scandal? And of course, he was subsequently cleared, but it's being seen now as, the right decision to have made the highest form of probity in public life.
So when his name came up and government had decided to, Dida Narasimha Rao government had decided to institute a case, he was really shocked because his whole entire life has been a transparent one. And when his name was, he felt that it would not be in fitness of things if he continued in office. Rather, he would wait for his name to be cleared, and that's what subsequently happened. Because Advani ji believed that the leaders will have to set an example when it came to corruption charges. He was dead against dynastic politics. There was once a suggestion that his son could contest a seat he had vacated. Advani ji said, certainly not. He said, so long as he was in politics, he would not want any of his family members, to be seen as getting the benefit because of his leadership. Okay. And that he stuck till the last. And that itself speaks of a time today, dynastic politics, has become such an order of the day. You look at particular regional parties, they have either their sons or daughters or their nephews and nieces who are termed as natural, heir apparent. And everybody thinks that because they win elections, it is accepted. But Advani ji, felt that a party is built by cadre, and if today you see a lot of the leaders who are now holding top position in BJP, all of them were picked up by Advani ji. He spotted talents among his cadre, and that's how a political party was built. A party like BJP was built on the strength of the Advani ji's long-term vision for the party and for the country.
Now, Advani was elected mostly from Gujarat, and he also used to defend the Gujarat model. And he was the man, as we know, who also formally proposed Prime Minister Modi's name for the Prime Minister's post in 2014. So how do you view the relationship between Prime Minister Modi and LK Advani?
See, Advani ji, because as I mentioned, as an organization man, all the people whom he brought to the front, whether it was Arun Jaitley ji, Sushma Swaraj ji, Pramod Mahajan, and of course Narendra Modi ji, all these leaders were all young leaders, before him, whom he groomed, I would say. And he knew what task could be accomplished by whom.
Yes.
And when it came to Gujarat, Advani ji was instrumental in convincing Atal ji that Modi should take over the post-quake hit Gujarat. And then the immediate task of Modi ji was to handle the quake relief and rebuild Kutch, and in which Modi ji showed his administrative skill. And subsequently, there were unfortunate incidents like the 2002 riots. Overcoming that, then taking Gujarat on a path of development, on a model of governance, which ultimately led to what is called the Gujarat model, which you just referred to. And Advani ji was a very large-hearted person. He always acknowledged and admired the way his, I would call them disciples, rather political disciples, and about their accomplishments. Everybody, they always felt Advani ji, when it came to organization matters, governance issues, particularly governance matters, he was very forthright and he was very democratic-minded. And though he had a moniker that he was a low purush, Iron Man, but actually, he, by disposition, he was one of the softest leaders.
All right.
I mean, this I can say by personal interactions with him, and he was a liberal person. And I can tell you, Mark, share my personal. Those days, I used to cover the Bharatiya Janata Party for the Hindustan Times. He would read my reportings. Whenever he felt that I had written about something which he was not aware, which probably was an aspect did not show the party in good light, he would call me up and ask me, Shekhar, you have written this. Is it true? Is this the way it is?
Okay.
And he would tell his party men, don't get hassled about the media coverage.
Yes.
If what is written is a fact, then see to it that it is corrected.
Okay.
If it is not a fact, just ignore it. That was his word, because he built in a communication. And today, when you see him being honored with Bharat Ratna, you realize that there are no more such leaders like Advani ji anymore.
Okay, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Shekhar Iyer. Thank you for your insights on LK Advani's legacy. Now, moving on to our next story. India's digital payment system, the Unified Payments Interface, or the UPI, is now accessible at Paris's Eiffel Tower. The UPI was launched at the iconic monument during the Indian Republic Day reception on Friday. And with this step towards global reach, Indian tourists will now be able to conveniently book their trips using online payment mechanism while visiting the Eiffel Tower. The international arm of the National Payments Corporation of India joined hands with the French e-commerce and proximity payments platform Lira to facilitate the acceptance of UPI payments in Europe, starting with the Eiffel Tower. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India took to X on Friday, formerly known as Twitter, to express his delight about the remarkable step of the Indian UPI being launched at France's Eiffel Tower. He said, and I quote, "It was great to see Indian UPI become more prevalent on the global platform, and it was a significant move in encouraging digital payments and nurturing stronger global ties." North Korea on Saturday test-fired cruise missiles and new land-to-air missile along its western coastline. This affirms a series of missile launches within a span of just 1 week. And it also emphasizes the intended bolstering of defense capabilities. The recent launch on Friday marked the fourth instance of Pyongyang deploying these missiles. Let's turn our attention to some national news now. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar released the book 9 Incredible Years of Haryana Government at the Surajkund International Crafts Fair at Haryana. This book sheds some light on the achievements of the Haryana government in the last 9 years. Haryana's Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar was present on the occasion. India's Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, delivered the keynote address at the fourth convocation of the AIIMS Jodhpur in Rajasthan. He inaugurated 24 health infrastructure facilities across AIIMS Bilaspur, Rishikesh, Gorakhpur, Nagpur, Bhubaneswar, Devghar, and also laid the foundation stone of 68 health services for AIIMS Jodhpur. Udayanidhi Stalin, the Minister of Youth Welfare and Sports Development of Tamil Nadu, has been summoned by the Bengaluru court over the Sanatan Dharma remarks in an event held in last September. Now, he has been asked to appear in person for the scheduled hearing on March 4. The annual Sports Meet 2024, organized by the Police Families Welfare Society in the Indian capital, New Delhi, concluded on February 2, and the closing ceremony was organized at the New Police Lines in Delhi with the chief guest as the former Indian cricketer Gautam Gambhir, who is also a member of Parliament, and others. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. The INS Karanj, India's naval submarine, arrives in the port of Colombo. And Jasprit Bumrah's 6 for 45 skittles out England on day 2 of the second test at Visakhapatnam. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The INS Karanj, which is an Indian naval submarine, arrived in the port of Colombo ahead of Sri Lanka's 76th Independence Day celebrations on Sunday. The visit symbolizes the strengthened maritime relations between India and Sri Lanka. The submarine was welcomed by the Sri Lankan Navy in accordance with the naval customs. INS Karanj is a 67.5-meter long Kalvari-class submarine with a crew of 53 under the commandering of the Commander Arunab. Now, the Indian submarine will depart the island on the 5th of February. The Thailand Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin reached Colombo on a 2-day official visit to Sri Lanka. A free trade agreement was signed at the Presidential Secretariat between Thailand and Sri Lanka before Thavisin aimed at enhancing market opportunities with negotiations covering various aspects such as trade in goods, investment, customs procedure and intellectual property rights. Sri Lanka and Thailand also signed a new bilateral air services agreement providing for liberalized air services between the two countries at the Presidential Secretariat. The Thai Prime Minister Thavisin is scheduled to grace the National Day celebrations in Colombo to mark the 76th anniversary of the Independence Day of Sri Lanka as the guest of honor. Prasar Bharati, which is an art and culture organization affiliated to the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, the RSS, is organizing a 4-day confluence devoted to the role of art and culture and literature in driving social harmony and nation building. The prestigious award, the Bharat Munni Samman, was conferred on 2 senior artists. They are Ganapat Shakaram Magase and Vijay Dashrath, whose contributions to art and ancient culture is immense.
The Akhil Bharatiya Kala Sadhak, which is a confluence of all India artist achievements, works to preserve and highlight India's rich cultural heritage. The event, held in Bangalore in Indian state of Karnataka, honored those artists who are working to create awareness about India's rich cultural heritage. Ganapat Sakaram Masge is one of such artists who got Bharat Muni Samman in Bangalore.
ये कला का सब लोगों को, भारत के लोगों को, बाहर के लोगों को भी जानकारी होना चाहिए। एक आदिवासी कम्युनिटी है, जंगल में रहने वाले लोग, और वो एक ऐसी कम्युनिटी है जिस कम्युनिटी के पास टोटल 11 लोक कला प्रकार है।
Another artist, Vijay Dashrath Archekar, was also honored with Bharat Muni Samman. Vijay Dashrath Archekar is known for his unique paintings and use of bright colors to narrate stories.
ये कला की साधना में जो बचपन से इस कला रूपी पेड़ को जिस तरह से सींचता आया हूँ, जिस तरह से उसका मैंने संगोपन किया है, आज मैं देख रहा हूँ ऊपर उठ के तब उसको अच्छे फ्रूट्स आए हुए, फल फूल आए हुए दिखते हैं।
RSS Sar Sangchalak Mohan Bhagwat, who attended the event, said India's identity is in its ancient art and tradition. RSS chief said that country should recognize and encourage those artists who keep India's ancient tradition alive with their unique works.
भारतीयता का परिचय देने वाली कला का संवर्धन संगोपन करने वाले जो तपस्वी साधक है, उन तक पहुंच पाना, उनकी पहचान करना और हम उनको सम्मानित करें, इतनी अपनी पहचान बनाना, ये संस्कार भारती ने कार्य पूरा कर लिया है। मैंने ये कहा था।
RSS chief also spoke on importance of consecration ceremony of Ram temple recently held at Ayodhya in Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, saying that this has led to the national and cultural awakening in India.
लेकिन भगवान रुको रुको, यहाँ वहाँ मत ढूंढो।
The Confluence also called for efforts to unite the society. A skit presentation by popular artist Nitish Bhardwaj showed how a divided society based on caste cannot be a base for devotion towards God. The play called for bringing the society together irrespective of caste community and work as a force to keep the identity of country as one. Aisha Khanam for DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for the sports news. And the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Pali Sansad Khel Mahakumbh. This was via video message. The Prime Minister congratulated all the participants from various states for showcasing their remarkable sporting talent. The Prime Minister emphasized on the strength of sports and its role in personal development.
खेलों की एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत ये भी होती है कि खेल युवाओं को बहुत सी बुराइयों से बचाकर रखते हैं। खेलों में इच्छा शक्ति मजबूत होती है, एकाग्रता बढ़ती है, हमारा फोकस क्लियर रहता है। चाहे ड्रग्स का जाल हो, दूसरे पदार्थों की लत हो, जो खिलाड़ी हैं वो इन सब से दूर रहता है। इसलिए खेल व्यक्तित्व के विकास में भी बड़ी भूमिका निभाते हैं।
Jasprit Bumrah claimed 6 for 45 in a reverse swing masterclass to fetch India a handy lead on day 2 of the second test against England in Visakhapatnam. Replying to India's 396 in the first innings, England were cruising at 114 for 1, batting with unbridled aggression. And Bumrah then turned the match on its head and England were all out for 253, conceding a first innings lead of 143. India were 28 for no loss at stumps, with an overall lead of 171. England had got off to a strong start, in fact, with Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett. Crawley had hit Bumrah for 4 fours in a single over en route to a 52-ball 50. But, of course, the England innings fell apart after Crawley's dismissal. Now, India has taken a 2-0 lead against Pakistan in a Davis Cup World Group 1 playoff match in Islamabad on Saturday. In the first singles match, Ramkumar Ramanathan defeated Aisam-ul-Haq Qureshi in a grueling 3-set match. Ramanathan displayed resilience and determination to secure a 6-7, 7-6, 6-love victory after losing the first set. In the second singles match, Sriram Balaji overcame Akhil Khan in straight sets. He won 7-5, 6-1. 7-5, 6-3 to give India a 2-0 lead on the opening day. India are now taking on Pakistan in the remaining 2 singles and doubles matches. This will be played on Sunday. That's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks very much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.
Our modern industrial